everybody, welcome to Banner and Chance, the Twitch stream that is growing by leaps and bounds. So thanks for joining us tonight. Really great to interact with a lot of you the last couple of weeks. Our party has come off a 2-week hiatus, so I hope all of you enjoyed the 4th of July with friends and family. We've got an exciting campaign tonight, planned, an exciting session. So maybe we'll start out first by let's just introduce the players one more time because we've got a bit of news. Everybody has progressed to level 5. So why don't we kick through? Geen, kick us off.
So my name's Luna, and I play Geen. She is a human Kensei monk from the far eastern country of Kozakura.
Hi. Hi, I'm Aiden. I play Kane. He is a wizard fighter, human, coming all the way from Waterdeep.
My name is Shady, and I play the young human rogue who goes by Runt.
Fantastic. So Geen, Kane, and Runt are with us tonight. Rogar may be joining us a little bit later, but for now, it will be a party of players of 3, and I will NPC Rogar until he joins us, or hopefully he joins us. So I guess we might as well get into last time on Banner and Chance. The party found its way across the Moonsea, and in the process of doing so, lost one of the party members and a dear friend, Clara. They made their way to Keeps Sorrow, a harbor town on the edge of the Moonsea, where they were able to pick up the trail of the Grey Patriots by running into a Commodore Minotaur by the name of Warthollow. They also ran into a precocious Grimshackle halfling, and through the course of several interchanges, they had to dispatch this halfling in order to protect their anonymity and their identity as they could infiltrate the Grey Patriot camp. The next session, they found themselves on the Duathamper Road, and after spending a night together, growing a little closer as a party, they picked up and found their way down the Duathamper Road and turned onto the Harrowdale Road. At that point, they found a burned-out wagon and eventually the bodies of a couple of dead Grey Patriots. They continued on and found a couple of wagons being assailed by a warband of goblins. The party raced in to their aid, Runt taking off alone into the wilderness, eventually confronting the war chieftain as well as a large, menacing ogre. The party made, I wouldn't say quick work of it, it was very complex. Waves and waves of goblins were coming at them. They were able to defend 4 persons. A father and daughter, the Keenseekers, Rowan and Juliana, farmers that had been traveling to Harrowdale. An elf named Kai Tyran, as well as Berga, an injured Grey Patriot. Those 2 Grey Patriot fighters, we don't know why they're there right now. And there was also the body of a Fletcher, who they had met inside Keep Sorrow. But as we join our party now, the battle has subsided. Bodies of goblins lie around this glade, and the party begins to get ready to move. There's an injured Grey Patriot lying slumped against the wagon. Rogar goes over to one of the wagons that has been tipped over and begins to right it. And the elf begins to check over the horses, making sure that their harnesses and everything are able to pull the wagons as they continue on.
I'm going to jump off the wagon that I was on top of.
A quick question. The injured Grey Patriot, what's his or her name?
We never got their names last session, did we?
No, I think you were right in the middle of it.
All right, I'm going to go over to the injured Grey Patriot, take out my medical kit and take out a potion of healing and hand it to him.
He looks up at you and he's in fairly rough shape. He has 2 crude arrows sticking out of him. Thank you for your help. Can you help me with these, please?
Yep, sure. And I'm going to. Have they gone all the way through him, or?
One is all the way through him, and the other is
All right.
more superficial.
Okay, I'm gonna get the one that's all the way through him. I'm gonna break it.
Okay.
And then slide the arrowhead part.
Ah! Blood spurts on the ground behind him, begins to seep down the front of his leather armor.
He's drank the potion of healing, right?
Not yet. Please.
I suggest you drink that soon.
Pull the other arrow, quick!
And I pull it out.
Oh, and he quaffs the potion, raising it to his lips, quaking. Immediately restored, he's able to get to his feet. I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't come by. I think they had us. We should make our way.
Lucky stars, am I right?
Thank you. Can I have your name, sir?
My name is Kane Faywing.
Faywing. Where does that name hail from?
All the way from Waterdeep. A bit out of my element, right?
Good to know you, sir. Help me pick up these arrows and we'll get loaded and go.
Yeah, sure.
Shouldn't leave these for the goblins.
100%. And I start to pick up some arrows. Like, what's your name?
Burga. You can call me Burga.
Burga, glad to be of help.
He begins to immediately switch into sort of duty mode, and you can see him beginning to load the arrows. He then goes around to the horses, makes sure he checks, walks around the wagon, checks it. He heads over to the pony that Bill Corin was leading. Bill Corin, your gnome companion. He's checking its lashings, and there's a large crate attached to the side of it. He begins to tighten down on the ropes that are securing it.
I'm going to knock an arrow and just do a once around circle around the whole party and the forest line just to make sure there aren't any leftover goblins or things out there.
Yep. As you circle, you can see the bodies of the dropped goblins, the scorched earth where Kane had let off his magic. There's a few dead giant rats, a number of bolts and crude weapons laying around, but nothing appears to be moving.
I'll call out to Kane. Do we leave the bodies here, or do we drag them off somewhere?
I say let the earth take him. The no good to him dead.
Kay Tyrion, the elven member of this party, says, "We must get going. Please, let's mount up and get on the road. There may be none of them left. We may be facing another wave, but I don't want to be anywhere near here when night falls."
I agree with you. I agree with that 100%.
It's around 1 PM at this point, after the wagons have been assembled. Rowan, the 75-year-old farmer, and his daughter Juliana have loaded up their wagon, made sure it's secure, and are now sitting in the front of it. The body of the Fletcher has been taken into the and has been put into the back of his own wagon and covered with a cloth. The two Grey Patriots are sitting at the front of that wagon, and they've cut loose the body of one dead horse, and now we're on a single hitching and begin to push that horse forward.
We still have our horses, right?
You do.
Okay. I'm going to take my horse. Actually, yeah, I'll take my horse. I'll hitch it up to the front. Speed it up a little bit.
Okay, they stop. They allow you to do this, and soon the train is heading down. The track allows for the farmer to follow the wagon with the Grey Patriots in it. Where do we find each of you if we have them in front of each other? The Grey Patriots uncovered wagon in front, the wood slat covered wagon of the farmer in behind.
stay as close as I can with the Grey Patriots.
Okay, I'll put you you'll be riding next to the driver's side. You'll be on the left-hand side.
Mm.
Level with the driver.
I'll be the caboose
All right.
on my horse.
You were at the back next to the farmers, or at the back of their wagon?
I'm on my horse.
Yes, but are you
So-
level with the farmers themselves?
No, I'm in the back.
You're way at the back.
I'm behind everybody.
All right. Rogar will join you, Kane, at the front, and Runt.
I want to be sitting on the back of their wagon, facing this, like the behind us, and dangling my feet off the side.
Okay, so there's actually it's like a gypsy wagon where there's
Oh, like a carriage or something?
that's sort of it's like a round topped
Gotcha.
Estani wagon kind of thing where you can but there's a door or a half door you can open and you can have your arms leaning out the side looking back.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do that.
Okay. And as you're inside that wagon, you notice that it's loaded with wheels of cheese. There's several wheels of cheese either hung in rope bags or twine bags, or they're on the shelves. And the entire wagon, it's not unpleasant, but it is a cheesy type of place. And it's these ripening large wheels of cheese. Looks like a year's worth of work or longer. Probably these cheese have been ripening for...
Are there any people back there with?
No, it's empty. There's a few meager provisions. There's blankets, bedrolls.
Well, then Runt is going to think to herself, this must have been what those giant rats were after.
Like, very astute. As you're driving, they can see in the wagon behind you through the front, and the daughter turns to you and says, "Young one, are you all right? I hope that wasn't too dramatic for you."
Are you talking to me?
Yes, are you hungry? Can I get you something to eat?
Yes, you can. Do you have any, I don't know, like meat? Do you have any beef or like chicken?
We have some meat, but here, take this. And she hands you an apple, a wedge of cheese, and a piece of salt pork.
Thank you. You can keep the apple though. That's probably got worms.
Okay. She takes the apple and takes a bite. You will continue on this way. They are content to keep to themselves. You hear the elf and the human Grey Patriot are talking amongst themselves, Kane.
Can I listen in? See if I can hear anything?
You can. They're not being overly quiet. At one point, Burga says to Kai Theron, I've had enough of this. I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm done with all of this. When we get to Harrowdale, I'll talk to Sand, but I'm finished. I want to find a piece of land that I can call my own. And hopefully, I had a family once before. Hopefully I can have one again. Kai Theron turns to him and says, well, you're going to have the pick of widows and orphans when we get back to camp. Many of our people are going to be left fatherless and husbandless. I'm sure you can have your pick of all of those women and family. Burga thinks this is quite disgusting. You can see a look across on his face as if he's wondering what this person's thinking, but he says, perhaps. I have a few friends there, and I may be able to give them a life, but I want something more than this. And he seems to sink into himself, and the elf, sensing that the conversation is over, continues to drive the wagon forward. You continue on for the rest of the day this way, and as you do, is there anything that you would have wanted to accomplish as you're moving forward?
Yeah, I'm just gonna slow down a bit, so I'm kind of like a little bit out of the sight from the two Grey Patriots. I'm gonna take a little piece of copper from my hand, point to the back of me, and I'm gonna say in a whisper that only I can hear to Geen, my name is Feywing, play on that. and that's it. And she can only hear this.
Only Geen.
Yeah, I'm casting message,
Okay.
and she can reply with a short message, similar to a whisper.
Okay. And the name again, one more time, is?
Oh, message.
Pardon me, your last name.
Oh, Feywing.
Feywing. All right. But Rogar and Runt do not hear this.
Yeah, they
Right.
don't hear this.
Okay.
I'll whisper back to Kane and just say, I'll follow your lead.
Okay, I nod my head and I pat my horse.
You are able to board the ferry before it shuts for the night. The ferry, the river Duathamper is not the. It's a large, lazy river, basically. You are able to load onto these barges. There's two of them that are opposing each other and work like this, going back and forth, ferrying apart. The ferry driver says to you, "Hello, friends. Lucky you'll meet the last trip of the night before we camp center. Please board now." And he takes on the two wagons into the ferry. You can see him drop a large slatted board down that catches the current and begins to pull the ferry along its reins, taking an empty ferry back with it. Yeah, it takes roughly 30 minutes to make it across. It's not a dramatic trip. You're able to get down. The elf and the human are both down at the muzzles of the horses, keeping them quiet, as is the older Rowan Keenseeker, but his daughter stays there looking at you curiously, Runt. Are you doing anything as the ferry meanders its way across this river?
I wanna make my way over to Kane if he's alone, or at least try to get him alone.
Okay.
No, if I see that Geen's trying to talk with me, I'll go somewhere that's a little bit more quieter.
Okay, you're able to go to the back of the ferry, and the pilot is not really there.
What do we do about the crate?
Well, drop it off somewhere. Honestly, we just found two Great Patriots, and the Great Patriots know where my uncle is. So, I say we deal with the crate as soon as possible. Right now, I'm going to try to make it good with Berga, who wants to get out. I overheard a conversation.
You feel it tugging at your cuff, Geen, and when you look down, you see the smiling face of Bill Corrin looking up at you, and he goes, "That sounds like a pretty good deal. I think we should deal with the crate too. It's getting a little awkward."
Do we get rid of it before we get to Harrowdale? Or in Harrowdale? Should we just throw it off this ferry?
Runt, where are you at this point?
Still in the wagon, probably eating cheese.
Okay.
Just picking
Alright.
pieces of cheese off what's there.
All right. Rogar is content to stay at the head. At this point, the ferry is easily halfway across, and you can see the other ferry that's sort of on a pulley system is passing by you now, and there's a family there that you see one of the little kids go, "Hi, Dad, we're fixing dinner," and you can see they've got a fire going in a gravel-lined barrel, and the mother is busy cooking. "See you back in the middle," he says. And soon they're past you.
Is Berga by himself at all, or is he still with the elf?
He's sitting next to the elf, with the horse in the front of the elf's wagon.
Okay.
You figure you have roughly 10 minutes before you get to the other side of the river.
All right, I'm just gonna go up to him and say, "You guys are Great Patriots, right?"
They both kind of look at you slyly.
Hey,
What
I
makes
mean,
you say that?
well, by the looks of the clothes that we found down the road right before we found you and helped you guys out, I mean nothing by. I'm not saying the name with any disdain. I'm just wondering.
They both look at each other. Nallis, Randy. They were two of our number that we let off the caravan early when we heard that the road was dangerous. They were sent behind us to find our halfling friend. Hopefully he was catching up to us. Was there a halfling among them?
No, there wasn't. Wait, halfling. You don't happen to know a minotaur?
Well, yes. It's Commodore Wardhollow.
Yeah, he asked us about. You asked us about the. He asked us about him. We saw him go down the road. He went after him. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he went after him, and then we got onto the ferry because we had our own business. And then
They're ahead of us. He left 6 of our number behind. The other 2 must have carried forward. We were the middle pair. We stopped to help these farmers as soon as our caravan passed them, and we were guiding them. However, we had a breakdown, and you see the result. Anyway, Wardhollow must be a day ahead of us by now.
oh, well, dang.
That's okay. We'll see him noonday tomorrow as soon as we're able to make Harrowdale.
Yes, of
From-
course. Also, I know this isn't my business, but I heard you wanted to find your own plot of land. Waterdeep is a great place for new beginnings.
His eyes narrow. He says, "I thank you for your concern, sir. This is the land I'm used to, and my father was a vintner and made wine, and I hope perhaps I can be one day too. And there's good wine country where we're going.
Carrying the legacy. I respect that gratefully.
I don't think that my brothers will have trouble seeing me go. They're not so ignoble. They understand."
Alright, well, once we get to the dock and we head to Harrowdale, I bid you good luck.
Well, we'll see you on to Harrowdale, sir. I need to see. We need to check in with our office there, and then we're going to be continuing on to our camp.
Yes. It's good talk. And I walk off.
Thanks. You're welcome.
bed.
Yeah.
In bed.
All right.
During his conversation with the Gray Patriots, I want to
Mhm.
have a conversation with Burkle about the crate.
Bilk. Yep.
Yeah.
So Bilk says,
Yeah, not Burkle, Bilk, sorry.
"So what are you thinking?"
Is it heavy enough to be brought down to the bottom of this lake, river, whatever this is?
I don't know, but the water's fast enough. I think we can let it over the side.
I'm gonna look around. Can I see like anyone in our line of sight?
Now you're at the back of the boat. His pony is right next to you. It's at the back
Mhm.
corner, conveniently at the downstream corner of the ferry. The pilot is managing the ropes up at the top corner, and you have got a low rail that's holding the pony in. Bilk is able to actually nudge the pony over. Come on, girl. Come on. And now the crate is hanging off the side of the ferry. We could cut it. We could cut it right now.
We could, but people have seen this crate on this pony. What do we tell them when we get off and they see no crate?
Accidents happen. Maybe it let loose on its own.
That Gray Patriot man tightened it himself. I don't think he would doubt that his skill would allow for anything to fall off.
Perhaps we could just throw the body in.
We could, but would it just float away and be found somewhere?
Maybe. I don't know. We're gonna have to have a camp before we hit Harrowdale. Maybe we can deal with it in the night.
Are we going to continue being with these people?
They're going where we're going. I don't see how we can leave them alone.
Someone mentioned earlier about maybe saying that the food in here went rotten and we might throw it overboard to get rid of it. Would that be something plausible for you to say?
I think that's right. Why don't we try to find a burlap sack and throw that dude in the burlap sack? We can just say it's a side of meat.
We could, I guess.
You got a sack?
I have a bedroll. I don't think I have a sack.
Okay. I'll go take a look. And he comes back towards the cheese wagon. Runt, we're looking for a sack.
I have a sack. Wait, what's you need it for?
We gotta oat fay the Athling hay over the Idesay.
I don't understand common very well, but okay. It's going to be 1 silver. Okay,
Find a sack. I'm gonna
10
go.
copper.
What? And he seems really confused, and he's sort of like, just find a sack. And he heads over to the other wagon, and he starts poking around inside the fletching.
Just pull out my sack and then go give it to Geen.
Runt, help. We need to put this body in the sack.
Okay, why are we taking it out of one box and putting it in like another box?
We're gonna throw this thing over this ferry.
Kane-
Oh.
Kane, behind you, you see the fletching on the arrows begin to move, and soon you see that there's the form of the barber looking through these bundles, and you're not the only one that notices. Actually, Berga turns around, as does Kai Tieran, and Berga says, "What are you doing, you little thief? You leave that man alone." And you can hear Bill Corn get up and say, "I'm sorry. I was just looking. I needed to find something to use as a blanket." And they start a little minor argument. And Rogar soon is trying to calm things down. And Kane,
I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna say, it was just a minor misunderstanding. We knew the Fletcher. We had paid him for some arrows. We never got the arrows. He said he was fletching them. I'm assuming he was going to Harrowdale to sell them more, to sell more of them there than in the place he was before. We're very
doesn't-
sorry for this misunderstanding.
you don't desecrate the dead, he says. Berger says, "I've had quite enough of this. You must get down from there at once." And he talks to Bill Corn, and he begins to stand, and he goes around. He moves to the side of the wagon. Kay is saying, "Easy now," and the horses seem somewhat restless by this. They're not too happy. Geen and Runt.
Do we hear this argument happening?
Yeah, you can hear there's quite a commotion at the front of the boat.
Ooh, hand on the dagger hilt.
Are they in our line of sight from where we are in the back?
No, there's several horses and wagons in behind. You can see that the attention is turned towards them. Bill Corn now gets out of the wagon. He goes to stand near Rogar and says, "You got to understand, I'm not doing anything. I was just looking to see if we could find our arrows." "Yeah, that's right, our arrows." And he sort of points at Kane. We needed to get
Yes.
those arrows, and I was
Yeah.
hoping to find maybe a burlap sack or something that I could use to wrap our lunch in. And so he's busy talking.
It was just a minor. It was a big misunderstanding. We're sorry for that. Different cultures, different sorts of doings with the dead. Like, for example, Rogar's culture, they deal with burnings and stuff like that. I'm guessing in his culture, the dead's possessions are obviously traded for better use and/or something close to that.
I still think it's not the right thing to do, and Berger seems
Well-
quite disgusted. And
We are very sorry.
so they're settling the horses and the rest of it. they begin to. You can start to see because all this is going on. You're seeing that there's this commotion at the front, and you can see your party members talking to them. Geen, you're out of immediate line of sight.
If they're all distracted and causing a commotion, then I want to have Runt hold that sack open while I put the dude in the sack.
Sure.
I forget his name.
And you're far enough away that you manage to do that rather handily. You're holding this sack open, and the weight of you muscle this halfling out of this suspended box and down into the sack. His body hits the deck through the burlap quite heavily, and his feet are sort of hanging out. Geen, you're slung over the back of this pony, muscling this guy out. Go ahead, Kane.
I want to say to I'm assuming there's still a crowd going on. I want to say, how about this? A little bit of a show of magic, just to show respect. And
I think, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. And Burkle's like, magic. Come on, a little bit of magic. Everybody, we're all friends here. And he's trying to get their attention. Take it away, Kane, he says.
I roll up my sleeves a little bit, leaving the gauntlets on, and I cast magic missile into the air. Just spray, and it'll burst into like a little bit of magical blast.
You see these boo 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 heading off. That bang happens. You can see this coming, Geen. What do you choose to do at that moment, you and Runt?
Oh, as soon as I see those things going in the air, I'm shoving this guy off the boat and into the water. Trying to use the sound as
masking.
Cover. Yeah, masking. There you go, for the sound of the splashing.
By the way, Kane's just doing this just to like get out of this argument.
Yeah,
and
he
trying to
save.
He didn't know about the dead body.
No, I'm using it. I see it, and I'm just like, whatever magic he does, this body's going in the water.
The body slips off between these wide-spaced rails, feet still dangling outside of the bag, and it sort of nosedives into the water and then begins to float lazily away. There is a splash, and so I'm gonna
cast another magic missile.
Yeah, so Kane, I want you just to roll a quick performance check.
All let's see. Okay? Am I good at that? Oh, I have a +1, and I'm gonna cast magic missile at 2nd level. Do I get advantage?
Sure.
Magical. All right, cool. So that's a 12 so that's a 13 on the first roll. Oh, and a 19 on the second.
You distract both the human and elf Grey Patriot handily. However, Rogar, he beat it in right on what was happening. As you can see this stuff slip off, as you look up, Runt, you look towards the front of the boat. Geen, if you look to the front of the boat, you can see that Rogar's just got eyes on both of you, and he's just like stunned. And he just sort of slowly nods his head and then turns back towards folds his arms and kind of gives a grunt and lowers down. He doesn't for whatever reason, Kane, as the boat continues towards shore, he does not seem to be enjoying the fireworks display.
Kane's gonna look at Rogar and he's gonna rub his hands. He's like, "Look, I'm actually tapped out."
In the failing daylight, you can see this faint form, this lump heading down the water, catching an eddy and a current and being traced back towards the center of the river. And before long, it's a mere speck. You can hardly see it. It's just drifted absolutely into oblivion. And at the same time,
Kane's gonna walk over to Geen and said, "Is that what I think it is?"
It's nothing.
Yeah. Sure. And he's gonna walk back and just chill by the fire if there's a fire.
You can hear a bell ringing on shore as 2 workers are readying to receive this drifting ferry, and you can see that the pilot now has pulled up these 2 planks and set them down, and it's continuing under its own inertia, and soon it grinds up onto a muddy slope, and this large front door lowers and lands, forming a ramp that you can get down onto. dusk is approached, and by your reckoning, it's 5:30 in the evening, or
Mm.
so. As you pull the wagons, as Kay and Berga use their reins to bring their wagons on, a sign sits next to the ferry, and you can see that it reads 9 hours to Harrowdale, and you are able to pull off. There's a few campfires around of other merchants and whatnot ready to go back in the morning, but the drivers of the ferry say no more tonight. And as you're ready to leave, you can see that they quite swiftly, under no load, are heading back towards the center of the river. And in a few minutes, they lash the two ferries together in the center, and it seems like all of the crew is on board there, relatively secure and sound, and you can hear the talking carried over the waves as they begin to talk about the day and begin to relax and get ready for the evening. So the camp sounds all around you. People that are waiting for their chance to go across the ferry. You can see people are eating, they're laughing, they're talking. They've bedded down for an early night, but you still have nine hours or so to go. So,
All right.
so what would you propose to do as you see the two wagons continuing on down the road?
Well, Kane's gonna, during the short rest of the travel through the ferry, he's gonna do an arcane recovery and regain 2 first level spell slots.
Okay. So Rogar comes up to the party and he says, "What are we doing?" You're all mounted at this point. Runt, are you still in the back of the wagon?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Runt? He says.
I thought she was with you.
I thought she was with you.
And looking.
Can I come find them with a whole bunch of wheels of cheese?
You can.
Carrying them?
Before you do, though, they look up and they see you in the back of the wagon. Sure. And so you've hopped down now, and you come towards them with, and they're quite large wheels of cheese. So we'll say you have one because it's a great big, it's a 20-pound wheel of cheese, right?
Guys, if you fight any more giant rats, I can solve the problem.
Run. Put the cheese back. It's not yours.
It's a reward because we saved their lives. They told me. They was like, here,
No.
have some cheese. Thank you. We're not
It's
dead.
it's stupid. I'm doing an insight check.
One.
Oh.
Bean. Actually, do I
Yeah,
have
let me-
Bean?
let me try
I'm
bluffing
gonna
over.
quickly check Bean. Fuck. What was my Bean count last time? Was it 5? I think I was max.
Yeah, I think you had used insight the night before, and then I think you were full up again.
Yes.
I got a 16 plus 4 in my deception.
Yeah, so I'm gonna quickly do. So I'm gonna do Bean. I want to back down to 0. Oh, whoops! Belt. 10. So I believe.
That was nice of them, Rogar says.
And those are very nice people. You should have a conversation with them. They'll tell you lots of things. They like cheese.
No,
Are we gonna-
I'll thank them for giving us the cheese right now.
I mean,
And I go off.
weird about this. They were like, oh, don't make a big deal out of this, blah, blah, blah.
So you're starting to see now they're pulling away. Again, it's the Keen Seekers and the 2 Gray Patriots are heading down the road. So they're 5 minutes ahead of you at this point.
All right, let's join up with them.
If
They
you
got my horse.
so, are you on your pony now, Runt,
Yeah.
cradling this large wheel of cheese, or where have you?
Well,
Your pony's the one with the
handed
crate.
I handed one to Keen and one to Kane.
Okay.
probably all I have, and I have one too. I'll give it to Rogar.
So you start to make it up behind this. You've caught up with them now, and the farmer and his daughter are riding. They're not looking back at you so much, but they're heading forward. This continues until about 9 o'clock, when it seems like they've got a familiar place to stop because there's another couple of caravans there, some wagons and some families. And you pull off to the side, and this seems like it's a roadside stop that people often use. There are campfires around that are burning, and there's campfire pits that are empty, and travelers have left cords of wood for fellow travelers to use. There's about 10 of these campsites all told. 6 of them are full, and as you arrive, there are 2 vacant on both ends. The elf seems content to carry through and look who he's camping with, and then he stops on the farthest most campsite, and all 4 of them pick one fire and park the wagons and begin to curry the horses and prepare a meager evening meal. What is the party doing? Where are you?
James, I'm gonna sit by the fire, crossing the Grey Patriots.
Okay. Bill Corn gets down. He has a pot out, and you can see that he's beginning to prepare something in the coals.
He's a gnome, right? Bilk.
Mhm.
Is he by me right now?
He's in the middle. They're watching him. They engaged in some light conversation. He goes, I love tomato soup, and he's going on, and they seem to content to give him a bit more of that salt pork and a wineskin with water, and he's making a broth, and soon it's bubbling, and he's able to pass it out to the party.
I was gonna try something, but I don't think I'm gonna risk it. He's just gonna listen in, just into conversations around him.
Sure. Where are you all at this point? It's about a half an hour into the evening. It's been a long day, obviously, and people are beginning to retire. The 75-year-old father has gone into the back of his wagon. Soon you hear him snoring.
After eating, I'm just going to find a thick enough tree, sit down with my back behind it, and then just start kind of spending some time sharpening my swords.
Okay. The night, if you'll do nothing else, you're able to take rest. There's enough people around. The Grey Patriots seem that they have everything relatively in hand. Oddly, there seems to be a couple of children kind of skirting around and playing, and you're wondering where their mother is. And Burgess says, "You two get back to your mother," and they kind of snigger and run off down. And at that point, night descends, and slowly the campfires begin to grow low, and you can see more and more people are retiring for the evening. And night is soon upon you.
I have a question. Have these Grey Patriots ever gotten a good look at Gein's face?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And no reaction to it?
They look at all of you with kind of a... they've looked at you sort of in passing, and they see that you were oddly dressed and the rest of it. And I guess what I'd ask you to... they've definitely haven't talked to you at this point, having not been really asked anything. I guess what I would are you trying to, you're not obscuring your
I'll keep my hat on and my veil across, but she's just curious whether or not they've she's seen any reaction because of her interaction with that one guy who kidnapped her.
Why don't you
She's-
roll? Why don't you roll if you're curious and you're asking directly? If you want to observe them for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you roll perception for me?
Okay. 17.
You can't get a read on the elf at all. He seems to be quite handy, but every once in a while, you see that Berga looks up from the fire, and his gaze lingers on you longer than perhaps you would like.
Mm.
Then he drops back his gaze back to the fire and back up to you, and he seems troubled, genuinely troubled.
Okay.
But he also doesn't seem fearful. He just seems a little uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
The fire fades. Night overtakes the party. And soon morning breaks. Around you, the camps are beginning to break up. You can hear the bell off in the distance, carried on the wind. What you think is a bell, and you can't tell if it's coming from the ferry or not, but you can imagine it's starting to take passengers soon. As you awake, the party makes ready to go quite quickly, and caravans and wagons from this campsite begin to break in both directions. Some heading to the ferry, some heading to Harrowdale, and soon you find yourself on the road again, much like you were before. Familiar, you are in the lead, and there's several wagons behind you. One of the wagons seems to be really eager to get to Harrowdale, and is constantly sort of annoyingly coming a little too close and having to slow down his
Have we taken a long rest now? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
yeah, no, I would say you've taken a long rest. I think
Nice.
So, so away you go, and you are on the road.
Can I make a general perception check? Just see if anything's out of the ordinary around us.
Everything seems quite ordinary. You're traveling through farmland. You're traveling through vineyards. There are relatively well-mannered copses of trees that appear that this is quite a lush and rather well-off area of the realms. There are low plaster-covered buildings and slate-tiled stone barns, and it's quite a picturesque and beautiful area of the world as you continue on traveling on this well-worn and well-traveled piece of land. And then it opens up, and it would be something like you would see in Greece or whatnot. And there's piled stone walls down both sides guarding the vineyards or the wheat fields. And down you go in this lush farmland. Soon you see the glint of the Dragon's Reach and the wide northernmost end of the Sea of Falling Stars. And as you come down into the valley, you can make out now civilization ahead as the town of Harrowdale begins to come closer and closer to you, and a lot of action happening around you. There's farmers working, and there's people minding the vines, and the caravans are beginning to pick up in terms of traffic, and you see them coming in and out of the building, in and out of the town gate. Harrowdale itself is quite a well fortified city, and you can see actually that there's a lot of work being done on the walls around Harrowdale, and quite, large. You've got lots of scaffolding, and you've got workers, placing stones and replacing timber walls with stone walls, and it seems to be a boom time for whatever reason in Harrowdale's history. You see that roads begin to converge. The road that you're on and a few others are coming from the farmland on the main gate. And as the industry and everything begins to bustle around you, you can see that this large entryway stands at the welcoming point of Harrowdale. Towers and parapets down both sides, and now there are two huge iron and oak doors standing open, and gray adorned guardsmen are all around. They have yellow plumes, and some of them have red plumes, and some of them have white plumes coming off their helms. They seem quite orderly, and they're nodding, and some of them are leaning on great two-handed swords, and other ones are on halberds, and they seem to be greeting the people and watching them pass, all with the insignia of Harrowdale. As you get closer to these people, you see they seem pleasant enough, although quite fatigued. And soon you find yourself in a tight line of wagons and heading through this entryway. And it almost feels as though you're heading through one set of gates, a new wall, and then you're in this kind of a channel heading into yet another set of walls, and it's almost if you're in a long tunnel heading into the town. And the tunnel narrows, and soon you're finding yourself having to ride one wagon in front and one wagon behind, and there's a berm down the middle that allows people to go out at the same time, but you're stuck in your lane. It's a single lane heading into the town.
All right.
There's a cacophony of sounds as you head in, and the line slows dramatically, and suddenly you find yourself kind of leaning and sitting there, and there's a line of wagons behind you, and you're sort of in this middle of this mass, and there's guards walking both sides of a narrow strip. You can see guards on high. You can see town's children are sitting around looking at everybody coming in and paying really good attention to everything that's going on and finding it quite amusing. And they're pointing at Rogar, and they're pointing at Bill Coram. And
Is it dark in this tunnel?
It's lit. It's not unpleasant. It's not as light as outside, but you can see easily. And soon you find yourself you're approaching the end, and you can see it widening out.
I was about to cast dancing lights for a second.
Yeah.
So close.
So as you emerge on the other side, you find yourselves in an entryway, and there is a number of iron fences that are now partitioning the people coming in. There's only one line heading out, but everybody heading in has you're shunted into one of 6 lanes, and there's a number of guards similarly armed, and they take a look at they come up to the elf and Berga, and they say, and the one guard looks at him and looks at Berga, and he says, yeah. Line 2, please. And they go down line 2. And then the farmer's turn, and the farmer comes up and says, are you next to the elf now at this point still, Kane? Are you in the same traveling order as before?
Yeah, I would say so.
He motions to you, and he says, you, line 4. And he turns to the dragon born and says, you, line 1. And then the farmer's piece, he says, and you, line 3.
If I can, I'm going to ask one of the guards as I'm riding towards the line. What do these lines mean?
Move along. They can answer your questions. You, he points at Geen. You're line 6. And you, little one, you might as well follow your sister. Line 6, please. He seems
Take
relatively disinterested. So your two ponies go down line 6, and he points to the wagon behind you. You, line 5. Line 5, sir. and you can hear him as you partitioned into an even smaller line. You walk your ponies down this entryway, and soon you see that you're only one spot ahead. A group of these gray watch are sitting there, and they have some artificers, and they have some people that are going through and writing down people's names, and they're processing the people entering into Harrowdale. And so very soon, Kane, you find yourself at the front, and there is a female in robes sitting at a desk. There are 3 guards around you. One has a heavy crossbow. 2 have short swords at their belts and pikes that they're leaning against. They seem relatively. Their eye is on you, but they seem relatively relaxed and tired. And they motion you to proceed to now get off your horse and walk it up to the desk, please.
Yeah, walk it up. As I walk it up, is the elf and the soldier group patriots? Are they already through, or are they still being processed next to me?
They're in the process of being processed.
Okay. Are they anywhere near me?
So they're up in slot 2, and you're at slot 4. So you might be able to catch a glimpse of them, but they're quite a ways away.
So they're not in earshot. Cool.
No.
All right.
No.
Cool. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna walk up with my horse.
Yep. What's your business in Harrowdale, sir?
Travel, just passing through. Maybe stay a night or 2. Heard this place is nice.
Yes. Where are you heading?
We actually, me and my party members, we got separated in the lines. We're traveling. So we don't know where we're traveling. We're just kind of wanderers in a sense.
Okay. So you're finding a boat, I imagine, or something.
Yeah, most likely.
All right. What's the name of your party? Who are you with?
Geen, Runt, Rogar, and I am Kane Harbinger.
Kane Harbinger. I've got that right?
Yep.
H-A-R...
B-I-N.
Okay, great. Harbinger.
Mhm.
Harbinger. She puts you see her put a star next to it.
Glad to see another person in arms, right?
I'm not sure what you mean, sir.
Soldier.
Oh, yes, you're a soldier. Where were you a soldier at? Mr. Harbinger?
Waterdeep.
Waterdeep. You're a member of their guard there?
I take out the little pendant. I am actually.
Excellent. Okay. So, fine.
If-
Can you put your bag down here on the table, sir?
Sure.
What does she find in your bag, Mr. Harbinger?
Okay, I'll name off the stuff. I want to ask her, do you want me to bring out my spellbook too?
Yes, I wouldn't mind taking a look at it. Thank you.
All right, I bring down my spellbook. She finds a backpack, my backpack, bedroll, component. Oh, I take off my gauntlets because those are my component pouches.
So she takes a look at the gauntlets. She takes a look at your bedroll. She
Yeah,
takes a look at the
manacles,
spell book,
musket.
opens it up, quick flip through it. She says, "Very good. I can see you're a military man," and you can see her make some notes.
Yeah, she also sees like the Waterdeep issue medical kit.
Yep. Do you have any potions of healing left? Just so
I think I have 2
I think you have
left.
2. That's right. That's what I've got. So, yeah, she notes all that down, and she says, "Very good. Enjoy your stay. Do you know where you're going to be staying in the town?"
We'll figure that out. You suggest anywhere?
Well, they're down by the wharf. There's the Fisherman's Rule. It's not. It's across from the fish market. Not bad. 2 Rocks is a good place to sleep. Of course, there's. She takes a look at your change purse and she thumbs through it, and you can see her note down quite carefully how much you brought in. She hands it back to you. She says, "I would say for you, 2 Rocks would probably be a good place to stay. Yeah, I'd say the 2 Rocks would like me. But just what I would say, sir, is we've had a bit of trouble here, so be on your guard."
Of course. I wouldn't leave anything without my spear, and I point to the spear.
Oh, very good. She offers your stuff back, gives you your
Remember-
weapons back.
Yep.
You can see that one of the guard has checked your horse over, and she said, "If you want to store your animal, there is the the stables. They're right here, off to my left here, and she points through the line. You can see that there's paddocks where there's several horses, and
I'm gonna quickly ask her. What does the star mean? And it sounded like you knew Harbinger.
the name rings a bell, sir. I'm just going to check in with my supervisor. That's all.
All right, just thank you. And
Yeah.
I go off with my horse.
Very good. I'm sure we can find you if we need to. All right. Next, please. And she motions for the next person. She lets you through. At this point, you can see that the both the farmer are being processed, and it appears that the elf has made it through the line. There's a large gentleman in front of you, Runt and Geen, and he's looking to you, and he says, "Down from the horses, please." And he's dressed in robes. He has a shaved head, and is wearing a bronze and silver headband.
Can I touch his robe and kind of like feel it, see what it's made out of?
You touch his sleeve. He's bent over a large planked table. Names, please, he says to both of you. You, miss? Yes, you. He's focused on you, Geen. What's your name?
I'm looking to Runt first.
This is my sister. Her name is Alice Merriweather.
At that point, you see that the plate at which he has an ink pot on has a small stone on it, and the stone begins to vibrate and dance inside this little dish. And he looks down at it, and he looks up and he says, "Foolish child," he says, "Ma'am, what is your name?" And he looks right at you, Geen.
She doesn't speak the common.
The little bean begins to hop and dance. He goes, "I would quiet your daughter, ma'am, and tell me what is your name."
Geen.
The thing continues to dance. He seems to get. Look, we're just trying to do our job here, lady. What's your name?
Momoe.
The beans fall silent. This little pebble.
I think your beans
Momoe.
is broken because that's not her name. Her name is Geen.
The bean begins to bounce again.
See, it's broken.
Momoe, how do we spell that? He seems a little bit infuriated with you, Runt. Not mad, just sort of an adult's impatience, right?
Mhm.
So, how do I spell Momoe, please?
In common, M-O-M-O-E.
Thank you. What's your business here in Harrowdale, ma'am?
We were helping to escort a friend to the city.
Okay. Who are you traveling with?
Other friends, a
What are their names?
dragonborn and a human.
Very good. What are their names, ma'am?
Rogar and Kane.
Excellent. And what's your daughter's name there? The bean.
Okay, you got
The bean starts to tip a little
My
bit.
name is Alice Merriweather.
The bean
It's my
starts to
name.
hop again. The bean is hopping in the plate.
Oh, technically it's Allison Merriweather. Okay, maybe that's...
I understand the games of children. What is her name, ma'am?
In our family, we call her Runt.
The bean falls silent and he says, "Well, I wouldn't have named my daughter that, but it takes all types." And he writes down, you can see him write down Runt. "Can you put your bags, please, up on the table here?" He begins to look through your bags. And what would he find as he digs through them?
I'm holding my bag tightly to my chest.
Yeah, he's not looking at you yet, but
Okay.
In my backpack, it's just regular stuff: bedroll, clothes, mess kits, all of my important stuff that I like my small pouch with my meditation bowl. It's on me. It's like tucked
Yeah.
into my.
and just as he did with Kane,
Yeah.
you see him. You see him motion to the pouches at your belt, and he says, "Please, can I take a look at those?"
My pouch is it's tucked into my armor. It's hidden. Nobody can see it
Understood.
because
Yeah.
I have an armor plate in front of me right here where because that's what archers wear is they have this little small thing armor plate in front. So
All
I
right.
tucked it inside.
Do you
so
have
nobody
anything
can
else on
see
your
it.
person, ma'am? He says. Do you have anything of importance on your person, ma'am?
I motion to my weapons on me.
Anything else?
Just these.
The bean begins to bounce. He goes, "Ugh. I'm not going to take anything from you. We just need to take an inventory. We've had some problems here. We have a lot of illicit substances coming into the town. I need to check everything, ma'am. I'm exhausted. I've been at this for weeks. Please make my job easy."
I'll pull out my little pouch,
What does he find inside that pouch?
my meditation bowl, and Clara's hair.
He looks at it. He picks up the hair. He looks at the bowl.
I didn't want to give it to him. I was gonna open it for him.
Okay, but he's quite a brash. He takes it out. He looks at it.
If no. If he goes to grab it, I pull
Sure.
it away.
Okay.
He's not touching it.
So he says, "Ma'am, I just need to take a look. Can you lay them out in front of me? Your side of the table."
If you promise not to touch it,
Okay.
then I'll take it out.
All right. So when I look through this, we have a number of items here, and he starts to take an inventory down of what he sees. He looks at the bowl and he says, "Too small for soup. What is that? That there."
Wait, what? Oh,
The bowl.
oh.
What is this silver thing? This brass thing?
It's a bell.
Okay. Can you ring it for me, please?
Why?
I hear your bell.
It's just a bell.
I believe you. I just like the sound of bells.
I'll take my little wooden
Mallet.
and just kind of, I'll pick it up, tap it, and then do like a little.
Sure. So it begins to ring, and he says, "That's a harmonious sound. That's excellent." Do you have anything else of importance on you?
Nope.
The
I'm
bean
putting the stuff
Yep.
back in that pouch.
as the bell rings, the bean stays silent. You little one, just let me take a quick look at your bag, please.
It's okay, Runt.
I'm gonna start taking out individual items
So what
like
what gross stuff does he
one
find
at
in
a
Run's-
time.
Oh,
Oh, how many things? That's the question. How many things?
There is a hairbrush. There is a shoe that belonged to Clara. There is a dead roach. It's been in the bottom of the bag for a long time.
ugh. So you're taking these dead roach?
She's like,
Ugh.
yeah.
Ugh. You're taking her to the temple. I take it to have a look at her, I imagine. This one needs help, yes?
Not particularly.
I don't like his tone.
Well, is there anything else that you've got on you? Weapons or anything? Can you place them on the table, please? Does your little friend here carry anything for her protection?
Nope, not a thing.
No.
The little bone, the little bead.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what? It's I did bite somebody one time, so it's probably that. Yeah. Does that count as a weapon?
No, I just need to see them. Can you tell your
They're right here. See,
your
they're right here. That's a
teeth?
see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He begins to look through them. And you're still loading your stuff up, and he says, "I'm gonna have to have them search her if she doesn't tell me the truth. So I'm gonna ask her one more time. And if this little stone starts to dance, I'm gonna have to search your daughter. Do you understand me?
This-
Let's try this one more time. So
do
all
it.
of your stuff is sitting out in front of you. Geen, have you loaded everything back into your bags?
Yeah.
You have. So the bell and everything is away.
Okay,
Little-
okay,
little girl.
fine.
Okay,
Okay,
alright.
hang on.
I'm gonna start putting my stuff
He just
back
writes
into
up,
the
looks
bag.
like
So what does he see?
Reach inside. And pull out the black opal that I have and set it down on the table and slide it
Aw.
towards him
That's a pretty bubble.
and kind of wink.
Good.
Oh,
Thanks. And he pushes it back towards you. He says, I got to get going here. You two head through.
No, wait, here, take a
Look,
closer look.
And I want to throw it in his face as hard as I can.
oh!
This is the lotus, the black lotus.
No,
this
I
is
have
this is a black opal that I've had for
Oh.
a very long time.
So
from
he
the,
takes it off and he says,
The bard.
he takes up the opal and he goes,
Rand, apologize now.
I have a good mind to search you, miss. Your mother seems pleasant enough. Why don't you just show me what you have and we can be done, please? Seems really exacerbated. Okay, very well. And he
I want to
motions
reach. I
up
want
to
to
the-
reach into my bag and pull out the common little knife that I have, and just sit that on the table.
Okay.
Fine, here, go. It's
This is the-
knife.
This is the only steel that you're carrying.
Just look at me. Do I look like I know how to use a steel?
Okay. No other weapons? No, this is the only steel? Yes?
Only steel,
Only
Yes.
right?
Is it the only steel? Just so we both know.
Yes, it's the honest steel.
Sorry, I'm going to have to ask it in a meta sense. Is that the only
Yeah,
thing
it
that
is.
you're...
It is the only still thing that she has. That's a
Okay.
weapon, I think.
The bean lays silent and he motions you through. You get through the line and Rogar has emerged on the other side.
Still
Uh,
not burning.
You can
Yeah.
see that they're waiting for you, Kane, and Rogar's waiting for you. Kane, where are you at this point?
I would say midway through of just waiting for them, Kane just like rides up to like where the line they're at and just watches the whole confrontation. It's like,
Through the crowd that heads down the main street, you can see far in the distance the round top wooden wagon of the farmer. Throngs of people moving up and down this thoroughfare. It
okay.
is, you know, you've been traveling most of the day. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. People are beginning to find their way. The last of the people are finding their way out of the city.
I'm just waiting for.
So what? You're all together. What does the party want to do at this time?
We need to find Bilk a place to stay, right?
Bilk has made it through the sorting station, yes, and he's there with you, and he says, "Well, I'm okay. Where do you guys want to stay for the evening?"
I found. They told me about two places. One is called the Two Rocks, and the other one is called the Fisherman's Rule.
I know
Or
the
was.
Two Rocks. It's decent. Fisherman's Rule. Cheaper, more fun, rougher crowd.
Ooh, let's go there.
I mean, honestly, if we're gonna lay, well, yeah, Fisherman's Rule.
Yeah.
That's my.
And remember, we need to try and lay low for a little while.
Look at me. I'm the lowest.
You are the lowest, yet
Sorry,
the loudest.
I'm the lowest. Bilk says.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Pop down, shorty.
I'm gonna say
begin?
that. Oh, sorry. I want to say that Bilk and Nomish. Runt is sometimes the pain, and that's it.
So, as you're in this throng, you see the wagons ahead of you moving down the road, the wagons you were traveling with. You're able to continue on down the road and work your way down to the inn. The one thing you do notice and is that there's many people walking around that are these Grey Watch. There's a mixture of races here. There's lots and lots of children that were were watching you as you went through the gate and as you were being processed, and they seemed to be following and begging and just throngs of them everywhere. And the one thing you do notice is that there's several clerics and priests with the symbol of the sun. You also see the symbol of the wheat sheaf, and they're moving around. People are shopping and eating, and the marketplace is open. And, it's quite a dynamic city. So as you head down the main thoroughfare, you can see that it branches off in all directions. And did you take your horses? Would have been left at the stable, I take it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've been put up there for as long as you need.
And as we're walking to the Fisherman's Rule, I'm gonna ask Geen and Ryan. I saw the processing went a little awry. Is everything go okay over there?
Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll pitch you in.
Rogar comes up to you at that point and he says, "I'm sorry, I have to go look at something. I have to see if I can find a member of my order, or if I can have somebody tell me about this journal. I understand there's a temple of Chantia here, and I'm going to find it." So
just make sure that you're safe. And I clasp his hand.
he heads off through down one of the side streets, walking measuredly. He knows that he can find you at the Fisherman's Rule, and he tells you not to wait up. You find the Fisherman's Rule, and
Before we go in, I want to stop everybody and say,
Okay, so if we're supposed to that low, I need to know. What is the fisherman's rule so I don't break it?
It's just the name of the. Actually, is there a Fisherman's Rule? Can I roll an intelligence check?
The fisherman's rule, Runt, is to not steal from people
Like ever, or just like today?
in the tavern.
Forever.
Oh.
over top of the sign you can see is a picture of a fish, and next to it is a ruler, and there's this large fish, and a smaller fish, all carved in wood, and then this large ruler.
Zikin, you don't know nothing. It's right there. It's about the big fish.
Well, where I'm from, the rule is not to steal from people.
Okay. Let's go drink something.
I hope we have money for it.
I have the. I think Rogar had the gold.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So I think so through the
I have
transfer,
my own gold.
I didn't have any of the gold. Rogar had the gold, and he took it with him.
I have
no.
some
That's
gold.
what I was thinking when he
You
left.
forgot. You forgot.
I have
Well,
some gold.
I've got 10 gold.
I've got 24.
Yeah, it's cheaper, right?
You can see that there's this rather ruddy-faced woman at the front, very rotund. She's kind of laughing at some patrons and scowling at others, and a young boy comes up to her and sets down a flagon of mead next to her, and she quaffs a big drink, and she sets it down and looks back to her books and her row of keys behind her. She says, "What can I do for you folks? Are you here for a meal or for a room?"
A room.
You've got me on a rather bad night, but I can squeeze you in. I've got two. They face the water. You won't appreciate the morning air, let me tell you that.
Is it because of the saltiness or something else?
The market is across the way, and that's where the fishermen bring in their night hauls.
Oh.
It'll remind me of home, at least.
I quite enjoy
Good.
the smell of the sea.
All right, Baron, take them up to their rooms, please, and show them where to go.
How much do I owe you?
Oh, and she taps to the sign behind her. She says, "For the three of you, 2 rooms, It will be 1 gold piece between the 2 of you if you can. Pony.
There
Yes,
will be
there's
another
3 of
joining.
us. Oh.
But me and Rogar can bunk.
Yes, but she can only see 3 of us. Rogar will be joining us later.
That's okay. 2 rooms.
Yeah.
1 gold. Thanks.
I
She,
give a gold.
But do you serve alcohol here?
She tips a little bit of her flagon onto the desk that she's working on, and she touches it with a you can see it sort of like beginning to evaporate and looking rather menacing. She goes, "Yes, we can call it that.
Ooh,
Serve a lot of things here."
that's exciting. So we're going to need some of that.
Okay.
Is that extra?
Yes.
Okay. My father will take care of it.
We motion to Kane.
You find your way to the top of the landing. You're shown to your rooms. It is a dirty inn. It's not well appointed. The wood is old and weathered, splintery. It's rough hewn. You're shown into some rooms that have some low slung beds, 2 each. There's really nothing there other than these 2 beds each and a table and
Okay.
a half burnt wick of a half burnt candle. The before you know it, the boy is gone and he's headed back downstairs without so much as a fairly well.
I'm gonna check the windows and doors just for security's sake. See
Yep.
how tough they are.
There's a set of shutters that you can close and a wooden bolt that'll slide through to bar them.
I'm gonna look over to Gain and Ren. I want to say to him, so I gave my real last name to the guards, and she put a star on next to it, and she said she would ask her superiors about my last name.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, did you get us in trouble?
I'm part of the spell guard back in Waterdeep, and my father was part of a kind of a higher echelon.
So you've dropped your bags in your room and you're over
Yeah.
in Geen and Run's room. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just talking with them. It's like I think it's a good thing, but the thing is, if those Great Patriots see coming and they say, "Hi, Kane Harbinger," and I'm Feywing, then that's going to be a whole heap of trouble for me.
Well, I wonder how we got into that trouble now.
Well, I was
So
just
what
trying
do we do now? Do we go approach someone to look for this Minotaur or approach someone to try and ask about Virgo?
Can we just like relax for a little bit? Like maybe do some drinking, do like the eating of something that's like not dread pork.
Remember, Ren, we don't have much money on us right now, so we don't want to drink too much.
And
I mean, we don't have to pay for. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, yeah, okay.
We could have a few drinks tonight, but tomorrow we need to get to work.
That's more like it. Okay, Gin, I like you. Let's go.
I'm gonna head to the guards house and what's it called? Guard station. There we go. I'm gonna head over to the guard station and see if I can find anything about a man matching Burkle's description.
Sure.
Could you also
I'll
ask
say it
about,
again.
see if maybe someone has seen a girl that looks like me?
Of course. Just be safe.
I'll keep an eye on Runt in the tavern. Make sure she doesn't get into too much trouble.
100% on that.
Okay, so Kane, you're heading out to. You're going to go somewhere. Do you know where you're heading?
I'm actually based on my background, my future Watcher's Eye. I've experienced, so I know I can easily find a local outpost of the Watch or a similar organization, and I can just as easily pick out dens of criminal activity in the community.
Sure. So you can head to. There's a couple of different places you could head. You could try if you want to go for one of the keep. There is a keep heading away from you against the edge of the building, called the Halwar Keep, where you know that they are there. There's also a barracks that you can head towards, and there also is the town hall, so the council hall. Any one of those would present a nearby precinct, if you will.
So if we're at, sorry, I'm just trying to find where we are on the maps over 13. I want to try to go for the closest one, and then if I have enough time after that one, I'm going to go over to the next one that's closer to that one.
Sure. Okay. So I would say you can head up to the. Well, I would say you can head to the barracks as easy as anything else.
Yeah, I'll head to the barracks.
Okay, so you're able to arrive there in fairly short order. It's just sort of up the street and around the corner. It's a compound, and in there you can see people moving back and forth. There's guards at the edge, and they are very busy. You can see that there's people moving in. You can see that people are being processed. They're being moved down the road. As you move up, you can see that there's actually a bunch of otherwise normal looking people, but they're in rope bonds, and one of the gray watch has them, and he's pulling them along. He's like, "Come on, we have to get you to the keep." And one of the other guards, he says, it's overflowing. We can't take any more of this. And he says, we have to keep the city safe. And he leads this string of
So a gray
Six.
patriot is taking these 6 prisoners.
Gray Watch.
Oh,
This
Gray
is
Watch,
This is the
okay.
Harrowdale Watch. Yeah, they
Oh,
happen
okay,
to
okay.
also be gray in clothes.
Okay, that's gonna be a little bit confusing.
Similarly clad, it is a little bit, but the Harrowdale Watch, and so they are
Okay.
they are processing these prisoners, and you can see that these look like run of the mill people, but they look absolutely dark under the eyes, and are skittish and kind of tired and nervous at the same time, and seem twitchy and touchy and tweaky, and so they are led out, being processed, and meanwhile others are coming in. So you're standing at the gate.
All right, I'm gonna try to find someone. Ask him. Do you know where I can find the watch commander?
Sergeant is in there, but what's your business here? He's a busy man.
I want to take out my Spellguard token. Personal business.
Spellguard, good enough. Go on in.
Thank
and
you.
He lets you through.
Yes.
You see, like you would expect, you see somebody in behind, administering fairly swift justice. He's got there's rows of desks, and their names are being written down, and it's absolutely bustling. It's this is 9:00 on a Wednesday, and everything is just absolutely humming. You'd think that this was middle of the day and some sort of party town, but people are being processed left, right, and center. Eventually, the sergeant catches his eye, and he goes, "Waterdeep, what do you need?" And
I'm asking for any. Have you seen two people recently? One, I'm gonna give the description of Burkle and Geen, and what Geen told me to say to that. The description that Geen gave me. Blah.
So, he looks over his shoulder and he goes, Salinar, and you can see that a woman comes out, and it's the woman from the toll booth, and she looks at you and she says, "Yeah, that's him." And he says, "Sorry, what was your question again? Your name is Harbinger, right?"
Yes. I'm sorry, but is that anything special? I'm gonna hold my gauntlet really quickly.
What? Sorry. What is your question? What's special? He seems confused. He's an older gentleman.
Oh, my original question was, have you seen these people of any of these description? I give him the description, and then the question after that was, you said Harbinger, like that's famous?
Yeah. Harbinger's a well-known name in Waterdeep. I take it you are related to the chief inspector in the Spellguard, yes?
Yeah, I'm his son.
Oh, good. Well, always happy to have a little bit of help. Let's get to your question here. Tell me again what can you describe these people that you're looking for?
So I am looking for my uncle. His name is Berkelish. Berkelish Samir. He's
Sal- Salinar is writing this down feverishly. She goes,
Yep.
"Okay, Berkelish. Okay, we can check our records."
yes, I think the Great Patriots have him.
Oh.
Same
Our-
with
our
the other
rep-
person I'm looking for.
Salinar, you go look for that name. Well, and what was the other name?
Geen didn't give me a name. The other one doesn't have a name, but I can give a full description.
Okay, do so, please. And so
Okay.
he takes down a full description, and Salinar, the woman, she runs off, and she's looking through. Soon she comes back and she whispers into his ear, and he goes, "The Great Patriots are. Well, let's just say we're having trouble with them. They typically are a fairly orderly bunch. We were affiliates at one point. They come from, noble forces like us. However, now we have some who are still orderly. They're under Sand Krulik. We can still trust him for the most part. His camp is not far from here. But there's another contingent, a breakaway contingent, and they are trouble."
Let me guess, they're under the rule of a spice trader?
He regards you long and hard. "Son, what do you know of a spice trader?"
My uncle is a good man, and he was way over his head. Something happened to him that related with the spice trader. He got captured. I came from Waterdeep. And right now from here, this is new land to me. I came here looking for my Uncle Burkle, and now I have to find him.
Are you familiar with Liquid Pain? Are you familiar with its other name, Agony? Have you heard of Luhix? Have you heard of the mushroom powder? Are you familiar with these things?
Have I heard of these things before?
Yeah, go ahead and roll intelligence. Yeah.
Intelligence? Alright. Oh, that was really good. 23.
These are the hardest of hardcore drugs that you know of. Agony or liquid pain is incredibly expensive, and it has an incredibly addictive property. It will stun a person, but then give and give them intense bouts of pain for a few seconds, followed by hours of pleasure. You've heard of the others as well. Luhix is the one that caught your eye more than anything, as it's one of the most rare drugs that you've only heard of in school. It is derived from stalks of the Luhix plant. Those only grow in the abyss. It's absolutely as rare as you can imagine, and the addiction is what you would consider beyond extreme. It's vicious and immediate. The users of this will intentionally injure themselves, slashing great wounds in themselves in order to force it into their bloodstream. Mushroom powder you've heard of before. All of these appear to be narcotics in nature, and it suddenly dawns on you why there was a group of very troubled looking people being led out of the city.
Yeah.
I'll ask you again, sir, what do you know of this spice trader?
I know that he's with the Great Patriots. I know that they kidnapped or taken the second description I gave you. I know that Burkle was working with him for a while, and then he took something of his, and I'm assuming that that's the person I'm talking about, the second description.
So
And now they're both in trouble. Or Burkle's in trouble and the other one's free. Either or.
Salene has told me that Burkle is in custody of San Krulik in his camp. She's also told me that this person that you're describing sounds like the person that left on a boat or came through here on a craft with Karathur. I'm assuming that's who you mean.
Yes.
What would you have to do with Karathur and his witch?
I'm guessing that we're number one on his list. He sent his witch after us when we went to when we had to fled from a camp a while back. Actually, not even a while back. A couple days ago.
His witch left here weeks ago in the boat with him. She's the woman you're describing, yes?
Wait, is he saying that the second description I give him is the witch?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, this makes this a lot more difficult.
Can you tell me what your business is with him and San Krulik? Are you in league with Karathur, sir?
No, I'm trying to save my uncle.
Then we're on the same side if you're not with him. He's poisoned this town, you see.
I'm guessing that's why you mentioned those narcotics.
Us and the temples here in the town are working feverishly to try to get a hold of it. We've lost many people to the throes of these drugs. We are losing more by the day. Our economy is suffering because good parents are leaving their children behind to pursue these substances. Children are becoming addicted to these substances. The orphanages are overwrought. The Reverend Mothers and the priestesses of Lathander and Chantia are trying to help us scour the streets for users. We're trying to keep the streets clean. Many of my men have had no sleep. We are running on vapors here, sir.
Sounds like we've got to clear out the Grey Patriots from this town.
I am not convinced the Grey Patriots are my problem. But if you have any information you can give me, I would be more than happy to take it.
There's a man named Berga. He's about to leave the Grey Patriots soon, and he's trying to find his plot to land. He wants to leave. If you can find him, bring him for questioning.
Salene at his shoulder comes up and says, I know where Berga is. He's staying at the Fisherman's Rule.
We're staying there too. I can
Very
talk to him.
Well, then Salene and I will expect. I am Sergeant Safton. Will be expecting a full report in the morning. I hope you don't mind being deputized as one of our watch for the remainder of the time that you're here.
Not at all, but if you ever see me with, well, not with Berga, but if any Grey Patriots, they might have mentioned me to them. My name isn't Kane Harbinger, it's Kane Faywing.
On his desk, there's a little bead inside of a dish, and it begins to jump. I would watch telling lies. They tend to catch up with you, sir, but very well. You are Harbinger or Faywing. Depending on whose company we are in, I will try to remember that.
I want to be careful. I didn't know whether they knew my family or any of that, because Burkle is connected with my family. I didn't want to risk it.
If you are going up against the runners of these substances, I would keep your father's name out of it.
100%. I'll go talk to Berga right now.
With that, they let you leave. He bestows you with a silver token, a small pin with the same emblem that he is wearing himself, and a small red ribbon off of it. Okay, Salene walks you out of the compound and sees you on your road, and she says, "Make sure you check in before you go." Okay, Kane?
Yes. But go where? Leave the town?
Before you leave the city, you check in. We're going to want to
100%.
know you're okay. I'll have my
Yes.
men looking out for you.
I'll send a report tomorrow morning.
And away she goes. She runs back in, and you can see that she holds some position of power. Where do you go now?
I head back to the fisherman's relief. I mean, fisherman's rule.
Um. So you arrive there in fairly short order. During this time, Geen and Runt, what have you been doing?
Getting a drink
Yeah.
at the bar.
Okay.
I wanna say, and that's the time that I stole the pink ribbon from the orc camp.
So you have a few moments while Kane is gone here. So what kind of things do you talk about?
Well, as I'm talking to Runt, like I would look around the room and see if there's anyone giving me the eye, like what Burgo was doing earlier.
It seems that this place is full of people that are raucously drinking, but also fairly aware that it's kind of an aggressive place, and they're leering and sneering at each other. You know, it's a bit tense.
Keen, what are you looking for? Your eyes keep going like this.
Just wanting to make sure I know these faces that are near us, just in case anything happens.
We're fine. Look at this. Look at us. We're tough. We killed that minotaur.
You see, coming at the door, the first thing you see that there is a table, and it stands up, and it goes, "Goddamn thieves!" And suddenly, this man has two young children by the scruffs of their necks, and he pulls them up, and he goes, "Get your hands out of my pockets!" And these kids sort of kick and bite him, but eventually they drop, some coin and whatnot on the table, and he has one of his friends pick up the coin, and he marches them outside, and he throws them outside, and he turns to the woman at the desk, and he says, "Keep these runts out of here," she says. At that point, you also...
I was gonna just whisper to Runt, "You don't know those Runts, do you?"
Frankly, I'm offended.
This raucous bar is going, and yeah, people are looking at you both a little sidelong. They're wondering what...
I want to catch the eye of somebody that's looking at me and say,
What's the problem?
Oh no.
What you looking at?
There's several people at the bar. You can see there that there is a large man dressed in plate armor. There's another person that looks more like somebody who's a sailor, and he has a scimitar off his belt. You can see that there's a couple of sort of rough fighter types and a bunch of what would be sailors. They're all kind of looking at you. One has red hair, and he's kind of smiling at you, and he's got no teeth. And there's one that sort of looks over at you and says, "You're a pretty thing," he says, and he stands up, and he walks over, and he's drunk, and he's laying towards you, and he says, "How about you ladies come with me? I have the best mushroom. The best mushroom. We'll have a very good time."
And I want to try and poke this guy and use my stunning strike. See if I can get him to just collapse onto the floor.
Okay, go for it.
I'm just gonna try and use my fingers and just go tap like near his neck.
All right, and he rolls a 13. So
Damn it.
Ugh, you bitch!
I look at my fingers. I thought that was gonna work.
Don't poke me. And he turns around, and he says, he goes back to his party, and he's scowling, and he's pointing back at you.
I'm just staring at my hand.
Yeah, he's sort of shaking it off.
That doesn't work. You need to use one of these. And I'm just gonna motion to one of the daggers. This look better.
Those do, but they leave quite a mess.
At this point, you see that there is a young woman at the desk, and she's talking to the innkeeper just as Kane comes in the back. Okay, so Kane, you're coming in, and you see this woman talking to the innkeeper. She's wearing a golden flowing robe. On that robe is the symbol of a wheat sheaf, and she is asking the innkeeper. The innkeeper then turns and points to you, Geen and Runt, and you're seeing this as you were watching this commotion. Kane, you see this from the other direction. You see her turn and point to the two of them, and then she looks over this woman's shoulder. The innkeeper looks over the woman's shoulder and points right at you, and the woman turns around and faces you.
I'm gonna go over and say, I'm sorry, but is there a problem?
My name is Delve, and I need to take you out of here now.
I'm sorry, but that might not be possible. I've got business here.
Your friend Rogar is with us. You need to come with me now.
I'm gonna one-shot my drink and tug on the back of Runt's dress and head towards Kane.
Do I see Burga in this tavern?
You don't. You don't see Burger. You don't see Kai Tyran.
Shit. All right. All right. Well, let's get out of here. What's wrong with Rogar?
We have to talk when we're there.
All right.
The Reverend Mother wants to see all of you. You need to come with me now.
As we're going out, I want to take my now empty mug and swap it with a fuller one, if I
Okay.
can find one on the way.
Go ahead and there'll be a mug in front of one of the gentlemen there. I'll pick who. Go
Sleight of
ahead.
hand?
Yeah.
When we walk by towards Kane, are we walking by that dude that came up to us earlier?
No, he's at the other
damn
side.
it.
Woo! 26.
Oh yeah, you're able. This guy reaches, grabs yours. You literally hand it to him, and he's like, "Thank you." Goes like this. He goes, "God darn it, another drink over here!" And he's calling for more drink. You take his seemingly full mug, and you're out the door. You still have things upstairs, yes?
I didn't leave anything. I kept it all on me.
Okay, Kane,
Same.
you're carrying everything. You're fully
Yeah, I'm carrying
Oh,
everything.
Okay. She begins to lead you down the street. You are carried quite a few blocks away, and you're actually heading towards where you were, and then you break off, heading north.
As we're walking, I want to say to Gain, the good news is, Burkle's in the town. I've been deputized to find out about a narcotic outbreak, and
What's a narcotic?
drugs. Sniff, sniff.
What's a drug?
Something that makes you really feel really good, but messes you up in the future, like mushrooms, liquid pain, agony, looks.
So it
when he
causes
says
time travel?
when he says liquid pain, it rings a bell for you
Really?
immediately. Yep. And the reason it rings a bell for you is because it's one of the preferred substances that the Scorpion clan chooses to trade in.
Aha.
A Kozakuran crime family.
I did not know the common word for drug. Okay, now I
Okay.
know what drug is.
They call it venom of the scorpion. Okay.
Okay.
You are led down this street. She doesn't seem intent on talking to you. She just says, "Hurry, come." Towns are sort of this town is shutting down for the evening. Interestingly, there seems to be a light that keeps to rotating around the town, and it kind of illuminates and then casts itself a different way and then comes back around, and so the town is sort of being illuminated and then going into a dull moonlight and then being illuminated again and then going into a dull moonlight.
Is this a city or is this like one of
This
those
is a city.
places? I'm whispering this to Runt and Kane, but is this a city or is this a place where they keep bad people, like the place where we killed the Minotaur?
No, that's where that's the keep, the keep over there. That's
Yes.
where they keep people.
Where are we
Is-
going? Why are we following this lady?
We're going to the temple of she turns back. We're going to the Temple of Chantia, and we need to hurry.
How
And so,
close? Okay.
so she turns down a side street, and you can see this large green escape grounds opening up, and at the far end of it, a dimly lit temple and some outward buildings that are there. The next thing you hear, the next thing you smell is flames,
Oh no. Rogar,
Another
what did you-
fire.
and you can see,
Rogar
and
do?
you hear bells ringing, and the temple and its outbuilding are on fire.
Jesus Christ.
At least the outbuilding is on fire, and she begins to run. She says, "We must hurry." When you
Whoa.
reach
What the hell happened?
the courtyard, you see Rogar has his blade up like this,
Oh.
and he is in a mid charge and almost balanced on one foot, but he is still as a statue.
Oh.
And in front of
what
them,
did it do?
a robed figure is casting like this, and 3 darkly clad people have heavy crossbows pointed right at him.
Quick hold person.
And that's where we're going to stop.
Oh fuck.
So he's
Man.
just frozen. He's not like
He's
a
just
statue.
frozen. Christ.
We probably
just
can't
frozen.
tell. Okay.
Okay.
Today's
You're
been a
running.
s-
You're running
Sam.
up on this, and there's.
Today's been a session.
Yeah. I was about to go
Ah.
stealth mode and go after the
Jeans-
caster.
I made up a fake name. Geen actually has a Momame.
Momo A.
Momoe
No,
has
she's Alice Merriweather.
no, that's front. What are you talking about?
Oh, I mean, hey, that was. We're down to 4 of
I
us.
don't like this town. We need to get out of this town.
I like those beans.
We can't
That's
leave-
cool. I
we
like
can't-
that a lot.
We can't leave this town. We got stuff to do.
Well, I think the start of the next session, and I mean, it took us. We're here now, and so.
Great session coming back. My God.
As we pick
Yeah,
it up,
that's
we're
fun.
gonna be picking it up with your friend Rogar is in trouble.
Oh gosh.
And but the cavalry's coming.
Yeah.
What
We get to
what
start
did
with
those
initiative.
are those people who are with the crossbows at Rogar, like, do their robes have any symbols or insignias on them that we can see?
From what you can see in this flame lit courtyard, they appear to be very young, and
Young?
they appear to be roughly clad.
Oh.
But they seem to be a hodgepodge of
Yeah.
humans and others.
Do you guys remember there was wasn't there something that you guys were, because Runt is young and you needed someone to infiltrate something? I vaguely remember something along those lines.
Wait. Say it again.
Because there was something we were going to try to sneak into, and it was
Oh.
2 or 3 sessions ago, and Runt was young enough to fit the bill. I just don't remember what it was.
I don't
Something
remember
like
that
that.
at
I
all.
Was it-
vaguely remember it.
Was it the?
well.
Oh yeah.
We've got a few people listening, and so maybe that would be a good time to say if anybody can remember what that was to
Yeah.
send it in and
Yeah, I don't
Quiz
remember.
time. Please
How-
solve our
Yeah.
problems for us.
and we'll put that up on the Instagram account. We'll see if anybody can remember. And then the other thing we'll do is the 4 of us will rack our brains and maybe go through a bit of the past sessions and remember.
Oh man,
exactly
all
what
my
that was.
notes are so messy right now.
But
Oh,
in
same,
the
same. My-
meantime, we'll be starting the next session, rolling for initiative and
Yay.
getting right into it. Okay, so Rogar, Brad should be back with us, and so that'll be good.
Yes.
And you're going to get a chance to test out your next level.
Yay.
but in-
Question.
Hey.
I feel like it's a DM call. If my stunning strike didn't go through, does that still use up a key point or no?
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I think it uses. Does it use a key point if it's?
It stunning. Yeah, you use a key point to do stunning strike, but if it fails, does it still use that key point?
I think so. I think the attempt would use it in my mind. But let's go to the books. It's fine. We
Okay.
can figure it out. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll figure it out for next time and let everybody know. Put that in the comments if you guys want to help us out.
Yeah,
So,
please.
hey, let's go around the table really quick and we've got 3 beans to hand out. Let's talk about your favorite moments, and then we'll say goodnight.
I want to give my bean to Geen for her interaction with the guy at the when he was going through her stuff. She did a really good job of being what's the word I'm looking for?
Evasive.
Evasive, but like somewhat emotional too about like having to like reveal some things that she was not trying to
Her real
reveal.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we trust you?
That character really has a sense of boundaries and don't cross them. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, it's the walls are up, and it's a really neat thing to see there, Luna. So
I don't like those beans.
Yeah.
Those little pebbles, the little truth pebbles. Yeah. Okay, great. So one bean Geen, one bean Momoe. We should say.
Yeah, Momoe. I'll give my bean for the same moment. Honestly, that was great.
Okay.
I
2 beans,
wanna give my bean to Kane because I feel like he took a real charge of this session, and he went information searching. He was talking to those Grey Patriots. He just really took charge of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You now see new Kane.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that because of what happened before with the halfling dude,
Yeah.
Geen wants to try to give Kane more opportunities to do whatever he wants to do, like follow his lead. So she's trying to not make any decisions anymore. She wants him to be in charge.
We're set up to focus on a few things coming up here. So I think that's going to.
What does that mean?
Which ones? Yeah, you guys gotta figure that out.
What does which
I mean,
mean?
we're in one place. We've been on the road for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So I think I would say my favorite moment, and I'll throw one in here since we don't have Rogar. It just was the cheese. I just
Yeah, cheese is so
I
good.
don't
I
get.
never noticed that
I
she
know.
was carrying
I
these
was rolling.
things
I'm,
of cheese.
I'm rolling to see if they're like, we didn't give her that cheese. But I just, oh man,
You're welcome, guys.
so much,
We have cheese.
so much impulse.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in my
These
inventory.
are huge rolls of cheese. I mean, you guys are packing 3 big rolls of cheese.
Yeah.
All right, so good. Well, with that, I guess we can say goodnight and hope that we can bring more culture and a fermentation of friendship, and eventually we'll find the rind that we can peel off this entire adventure. Right? And I hope none of you are lactose intolerant. So
I'm lactose intolerant.